Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the very first episode of Bridge the Gap. I am Nikki Steinhauer, your host, your guide, and your fellow traveler into this fascinating world of energy healing. I am so grateful that you're taking your time out of your long day to join me on this beautiful, beautiful journey. Today, I just want to share a little bit about myself so you can get to know who the heck I am, what I'm all about, why I chose energy healing, and of course, what you can expect from this podcast. Now, just a fair warning, if you're one of those people who cannot take a joke, gets offended very easily, is very closed minded, and they think that the healing journey and the energy work and spirituality is all just like serious, strict work, then I'm not too sure that this podcast is going to be for you because along my journey and through my research, I found that the best way to approach healing, energy, transformation is just through a light, playful heart. Sure. Do things just suck sometimes? Of course. Does healing generational curses just tear your entire heart wide open? Absolutely. Does feeling isolated, going through the energy transitions all by yourself as you're losing friends and family, does it kill you inside, making you question your very existence on this earth? Abso-fucking-lutely. Okay, the cocoon stage of transformation is one of the most uncomfortable phases of this journey. But that doesn't mean that there's no joy along the way. Now, I'm not saying that I was shitting rainbows and butterflies along my entire healing journey, but I had to survive somehow. So, all in all, just expect some humor and let's just have a laugh at some of the bullshit because let's face it, life and energy healing, it doesn't have to be a freaking dumpster fire, okay? Or does it? Let's find out, okay? All right. So let's just go ahead and get real for a minute. Have you ever felt like you were just a little bit different? Not like the rest of the kids that were sitting next to you in class. I know this is a big question that gets asked a lot, but I'm not talking about having a D cup in fifth grade when all the boys accuse you of stuffing your bra. I'm talking about like maybe you could sense other things or sense things that other people couldn't, or you felt emotion so intensely you thought, am I broken or is this just who I am? Well, that was me. I was the kid who felt the tension in the room before anyone ever spoke a word. I was also the scared, sheltered fifth grade little girl with the big boobs, the D cups, who thought she was going to get in trouble when she got home because boys talked to her. But that's for another episode. I didn't know it then, but that intense sensitivity that I experienced as a child, it actually turned out to be my superpower. Sure, was most of it caused by childhood trauma? Yeah, but it allowed me to get closer to source, to be hyper aware of the energies that were around me and become so in tune with myself, my energy, my body, and recognize the subtle changes in order to hear spirit. Even if I didn't realize that was what I was doing my entire life. So, just a quick background of me. I grew up in New Jersey in the suburbs of Philadelphia in a 1 square mile town called Riverside. We were famous for having the world's largest watch case factory, for a drink called Boost that it's really funny. My husband hates it, but I absolutely love it. It's just an American non-carbonated cola beverage that was shipped to military personnel in World War II because it was kind of advertised as this health drink that was capable of giving athletes endurance and last minute strength. It was also believed to help you overcome anesthetic and just calm your nausea. Yes, all of us kids were drinking it. We would save our lunch money, go to the corner store or downtown to the news agency, before soccer practice to grab a boost, or it was called take a boost, which it tastes absolutely amazing as a slushie. Okay. For me personally, I thought people everywhere drank it. We had gallons of it in our home, this like thick cough syrup kind of stuff in these glass gallons that you would just mix in with water and drink it. They're very good. Again, like I said, my husband absolutely hates it. If you like soda and carbonation, you probably aren't going to like it. I'm really not a fan of carbonation. Probably why, because I've drank this drink my whole life. But I do always grab one when I go back home and visit my family. But yeah, so we loved our drinks. We were even in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the most bars and the most liquor license in a mile square town. But just like everything, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Like many of you, I experienced many challenges that shook me to my core, that made me question things, that made me lose sense of who I was. Having done so much healing in my life, I know now that many of the people in my life, we just know that they're doing the best that they could with what they had. But there were others who were just these narcissistic master manipulators who consistently tore me down and used me, which was my fault, by the way. And I completely own the role that I played, allowing these people to treat me the way that they did. But I will go into more depth about that a little bit later down the line. So, yeah, there wasn't really much for me to do in this 1 square mile town besides drink alcohol, which I really wasn't a fan of, to play soccer, to keep my scholarship, go to work, to pay for my car, my insurance, my phone, my food, and to go to school, which for the first time in my life, I wasn't successful at, because I was just kind of thrown into the real world after being sheltered and restricted my entire life. During this time, I had this internal feeling that I had to run away. Like if I didn't leave, I would probably just suffocate. So I went ahead and I signed my name on a one-way ticket and I joined the military. Things were going well. I met my husband, we had some kids, I worked up the career ladder. All in all, I had some extreme highs and I had some extreme lows during this time, which again, I will go into way more depth as we go through. But for me, the turning point in my life was when I was 29 years old. I remember the day that everything came crumbling down. The tower fell, the bricks and everything were just laying on the ground. I remember where I was, what I said, what I did. It's really hard to forget such a traumatic event where you thought to yourself, do I even want to be here in this world, living this life? Do I even want to be on this earth? I remember feeling like I had hit rock bottom. I was stuck in a cycle of burnout, self-doubt, and honestly, just feeling completely lost. Afraid I would never feel happiness in my life ever again. I just shuffled through life like a zombie, going through the motions, pushing through the heavy emotions and stagnancy. I sat in this weird energy of, I don't want to die, but I don't want to be here. Then one day I realized that I really needed some help. So I went to the on base psychiatrist who recommended some books. And after a while, I stumbled across energy healing. And I can't even explain to you how amazing that it felt to feel seen, to feel heard, to fit in, and not feel like a complete outcast. The only way that I can describe it is it felt like coming home. Not to my childhood home, because I probably would have felt beaten down, defeated. It finally felt like I finally found where I belong. Suddenly, everything in my life made sense. Those weird feelings that I had, they were my body and my soul trying to communicate with me. Energy healing didn't just help me heal, it woke me up. It taught me how to listen to my body, how to trust my intuition, and how to step into my power, to finally step into my purpose. Now, I know many of you are here because you're curious, or maybe you're just looking for some answers or trying to fill that void that you feel that's within you. And that's what this podcast is all about. It's about giving you the tools to understand and work with your energy, while also diving so deep into the science, the philosophy, and spirituality that make all of this life possible. Because energy isn't just woo woo, it's of the devil, of all these things. It's real, and it is life changing. I will admit, for a long time, logic held me back from fully embracing my spirituality. But God has assured me that if I wait for science to catch up, I will just be left in the dust. And I almost allowed myself a time or two to get left behind, because I feared so greatly what the people around me would think, what everyone would think about me. Good thing Spirit talked me out of it. It's another one of those reasons that I'm doing this. One of the main reasons I decided to do this podcast was because I just wish there was something or someone that I could have leaned on or learned from and got the help and the guidance that I needed. That way I didn't have to do this entire journey alone. But I did. So now I hope that I can help as many people understand their own energy and their own gifts, so that they don't have to walk this intense, dark path alone. That maybe I experienced all of this hurt and all of this pain so I can be a light to help navigate others through their own journeys a hell of a lot faster than I did. Okay. So, what can you expect from Bridge the Gap? Every week, we're just going to dive deep and we're going to explore a new topic. Everything from chakras and manifestation to the science of vibration and the science behind energies, and just so much more. I'll share my own experiences, bring in practical tools that you can use, and most importantly, we're just going to have fun with it, okay? Like I said, my healing journey was intense, but I'm able to see the lessons that I have learned along the way and have fun with it, because that's what I like to do. I like to joke, I like to smile, and I like to have a good time, and I know that I deserve it. So I hope that I can co-create a space for growth, authenticity, connection, and just spiritual wisdom. Now, for the boring sales pitch here, as I let you all go, I just want to thank you all so much for joining me today. And if you are ready to dive deeper into the world of energy and just unlock your full potential, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're leaving a review, leave a comment. Make sure you're following this podcast, and just maybe share this episode with someone who you think is pretty messed up and probably needs some help and needs some healing, okay? Next week, we're diving into my story, who I am, and my journey into energy healing. Again, I am so grateful to have shared this time with you guys. Let me know in the comments if this podcast sounds like it resonates with you, and just let us all know. What's your reason for seeking something more? Until next time, guys.